Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we are looking at the Play Arts Kai variant Captain America, which I was always a little hesitant about ever since I saw it. I thought they were going to do some strange things with it, and for the most part I like the concept. I think they did a good job in the design of the suit and everything, but as far as the design of the articulation, the engineering on the figure, it's almost offensively bad. There are some really, truly horrible things on this figure. So we're going to take a look at it, and we'll talk about all that kind of stuff. So first of all, he stands roughly 26 centimeters to the top of his head, which makes him about 10¼ inches. So standard size for the variants, no problem there. He has nice paint application. The white parts are... Actually, I take it back. Some of the paints are really bad. The white parts here are kind of this beige off-white, which looks okay, but then in the torso here, they're super dark, which makes them look really bad. So that's not good. Most of the metallic paints are okay. The reds and the blues are fine. The whites on the armor parts look pretty good. But those white parts on the torso just look really bad, and I just noticed that. I do like the reds on the boots, the way they did the dark red and light red. On the back it looks fine because it's uniform, lighter off-white, all the way around, kind of like a canvas color. And then up here it's just so overly shaded it looks like garbage. So it's just blah so far. The face, I think, or the head sculpt, is atrocious. That looks really bad. He has kind of like an overbite look going on, and just the way he's got the flash ears, and it just doesn't look like Cap at all. It looks really, really bad in my opinion. Now that's a subjective thing, so if you like it, then cool. I personally hate it. I hate the head design. The rest of the figure I think designed okay, especially the lower half. They did a good job with the legs in terms of the way they look, but I don't like that upper body too much. Okay, let's do accessories, then we'll get into the figure. So you see he has fist hands on him there. We have hands for holding the shield as if he's throwing it, or saluting if you want. They have big tabs in them, so saluting might not be the best idea. And the weird thing I found about these is for holding the shield, the fingers don't look like they're actually gripping anything. They're flipped up at the end, which is not accurate for somebody who's holding a shield in his hand. How that works is you just slide it over the thumb, and once you get it over that little ridge, you can tab it in. And he holds the shield really well with these hands. But like I said, it looks like he's not because the fingers don't actually even touch the shield at the tip. So it's a weird design, but that's okay. And you can see here the shield is really well done. I like the shield probably the best out of everything on this figure. I didn't even realize that those tab holes in there were for him to hold it. Thought they were just part of the design. So that's kind of cool the way they worked that in. So that's nice. It's all sculpted on the inside and has a peg hole for the peg, which you can put in. And then you can replace his forearm armor with this, and wow, there we go, with this, so you can peg that in and have him holding it. And you'll see in the photos at the end how it works, and I'll go over it as we get into the review. And then on top of all of that, you can use this, which you can put in his hand to hold it in his hand. And because of that, you need hands that look like this. Gripping hands for the shield handle, so that's pretty cool. And then lastly, we have our style pose hands, which Play Arts Kai figures wouldn't be anything without their style pose hands. So that's it for the accessories. Not a bad spread. We've gone over the paint. The sculpt is mostly pretty good, so that's alright, depending on what you like or what you don't like. Now let's go over the articulation. The head is on a double ball peg, so that would be okay, except the peg is way too long, so the head is sitting way too high up on the neck, and you can see inside it completely, and that looks really, really bad. The neck is on a double ball peg, so I'm happy about that. It doesn't have that weird hinge joint in it that doesn't work very well. So the neck is okay, but the head is sitting way too high on it. The shoulder articulation is pitifully bad. Horribly, pitifully bad. We have a ball hinge in there sitting on top of, hopefully you can see it because it's so shadowy, sitting on top of this new butterfly joint, which technically works, but there's no benefit to it because when you pull it back, it looks like crap. And when you put it forward, the arm goes behind this chest armor that just sticks out in a really awkward way. And the chest is completely hollow. You can see right through it. No good. And same thing for the back. Completely hollow. Just very poorly executed. it's just really, really bad. There's no other way to describe it. It's not effective. It looks like junk. Just really, really bad. The hinge works all right. It's okay. You get your bicep swivel there if you want it, or you can also swivel down here at the actual normal bicep swivel location. The elbow's all right. We have our standard hinge for the elbow, but it's a big hollow forearm when you use that. So I don't like the way they have that tucked in. They didn't need to do that. Wrists are the standard ball hinge, so that's fine, and they're fairly well disguised in there, so I think that's okay. So how you're going to use the forearms for the shield is this part, this whole thing comes off, just pops off, and then you can swap it out with this part. Very simple design. And then you can use the peg to hold the shield on. Now the problem with this is, as you might guess, it's on the back of the arm rather than on the side. So you need to rotate it around like that in order for him to use it, which puts the arm at this really stupid angle. It's a really lousy design. Unless you want the shield on his forearms, the bottom of his forearm like that, that's a almost useless design. So what you're going to want to use is the handle on the shield so that you can just put it in his hand rather than on his forearm. Because that's, like I said, a really stupid, horribly thought out, horribly executed design. Not good at all. Lower torso articulation has that hinge junk, crappy ball peg hinge combination, which I hate. I absolutely hate it, and it doesn't look good. It doesn't work well. It's just not good at all. Lower torso has the ball peg, which works surprisingly well on this guy. It doesn't give you any gaps and gives you really good range of motion, and he doesn't have a particularly saggy bottom like we've seen before. His butt goes where it's supposed to go, so that looks pretty good. The hips work also pretty well. They go pretty far forward, pretty far out to the side. You get a thigh swivel up there and down here, so that all works nicely. The knees aren't great. They're not super good, but they're not bad, so I'm okay with that. And then the ankles have pretty decent range, not so far going forward, but enough, and you can use them as an ankle rocker also. And you have a toe hinge, which works. So the legs are by far better than the upper body. This one is a little bit, which one is it? This one is a little bit of a mismold. I hope that's not like that for all of them, but you can see inside to the peg, which is just a giant peg. And that white stuff they put on there, so I guess it doesn't get stuck together, but there's a giant gap in there, so you can see right in there. Otherwise, the legs are pretty good. Upper body, almost garbage. The torso especially is just trash. The arms are okay. The head is okay. Not very good. So all around, it's a pretty garbage figure. I am not pleased with it at all. Yeah, there are some redeeming qualities, but for the most part, it's a piece of garbage. So don't buy it. I don't recommend it at all. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can see my upcoming figure reviews, custom figures, and other good stuff. And in the meantime, keep collecting.